Okay, perfect. I think we're live. Hey everyone, it's your boy Max again, and we'll be continuing on our series of analyzing the teams before the start of the season. Next up, we do have Brentford, another very exciting team under Thomas Frank, and a very clever recruiting team as well. As you can see, a few new faces again, as expected in the transfer window. You have Kevin Shades, who's been made permanent. You have very exciting Jisoo Kim. Romeo Beckham, of course, was signed from Inter Miami on an undisclosed. Will he get a chance to play? I'm not sure. Nathan Collins was a very smart acquisition from Wolves, and Mark Flecken as well to sort of take on that role that uh, David Raya has left. So lots of smart signings here made by Brentford, and every time we question any of the signings that were made by them, they always come back and prove us wrong. So we must trust that these signings are ones that will definitely either propel them further or keep them in the Premier League for another few seasons at most. So the rest of the squad, unfortunately, of course, Ivan Toney has his gambling ban that is in effect, and he'll be missing a good portion of the season, which leaves really only Brian Mbuemo, who had a really good season as well last year, and Johan Visa as like the main attacking threats for Brentford. They are a very hardworking team, so you will expect them to push forward in that counter press sort of high intensity formation and inter-team play that they have with their midfielders very adept at winning the ball and carrying the ball forward as well. So it they are a very strong team at the back, especially with Ethan Pinnock and Ben Mee. They further bolstered their backline with Nathan Collins, as well as I, I think their team had Aaron Hickey, right? Yep, Aaron Hickey as one of the fullbacks with Rico Henry at the other side. I think Sergi Canos, I think a couple of years ago, started off. I haven't seen much of him since, but of course, Christopher Ayer is there, also very experienced at the back. I was surprised that they let Pontus Janssen leave, but I think he definitely needed a new challenge, and I think he was a great servant for Brentford. Other than him, I didn't see much of these other players. Again, a lot of deadwood being cleared out, which a lot of the teams in the Premier League have sort of focused on this season. Mads Bidstrup was a good sale that brought in a good amount of money. But other than that, a lot of investment made in the team. And yeah, once Ivan Toney is back, I think you will see a better version of Brentford. They're definitely going to miss him up top, but as we've seen in preseason, the goals still flow. So Kevin Shade, I think he's going to be an important player for them because the focus I think will be a lot on Mbuemo and of course Johan Wisa to lead the line. But I think he could be one of those differential players to sort of take on that mantle of the goal scoring and creation. Of course, you have Mikkel Damsgaard as well, and we haven't really seen much of him. He hasn't really kicked into form since the Euros a few years ago. Or was it? Yeah, I think it was a late Euros a couple of years back, and then of course we had the World Cup. So yeah, lots to look forward to, and in seeing how Brentford cope without Ivan Toney. I think they'll still be fine. They've made some smart acquisitions, and I think they have a decent enough squad depth to balance Ivan Toney's loss. Not to say that they will do as well as they did when he was in the team, but they should still be able to float around above the drop zone. And I personally don't think they'll break into the top 10, but they should be close enough. And and yeah, that's Brentford for you. Let's take a quick look at the formation and who might start off the season. Um, Fairly settled, I would say, without Ivan Toney, who would have been that focal point up front where you would saw David Raya kicking a lot of long balls, Ivan Toney holding up the ball well and then making those key runs and amazing predator-like finishes inside the box. So Wisa has proven at the end of last season that he is able to score and is a tricky customer as well. So Mbuemo on penalties takes a lot of free kicks, corners, so he'll be that main creative force for Brentford. The team is fairly settled. Otherwise, Kevin Schade should get a chance out wide. The midfield of Janssen, Janelt, and Joshua De Silva. I think we saw a lot of players pick him in fantasy when he started off the season well. He was predicted to be one of those sort of stars to have that breakout season. He never really had it. Now maybe with the lack of pressure and I guess the expectations have slightly lowered, he might thrive in that role in midfield. Of course, he is very good on the ball as well, and he should be able to cause a few problems for the opposition. Backline fairly settled. Aaron Hickey does like bombing forward. Ben Mee and Ethan Pinnock very tall, great at set piece threats. Rico Henry fairly has that position settled down under him. So, and Mark Flecken, of course, will be interesting to see how he fares in the Premier League. But other than that, I think the team is fairly good and should be able to survive the drop. The only reason I say survive the drop is I'm concerned if Mbuemo, who picked up a dead leg over, I think that was the last preseason game a few days back, assuming he picks up an important injury throughout the season, especially at the start, who will really take on that mental piece? Will it be Damsgaard or somebody else? So that will be interesting to see if they have a couple of injuries to their front line. Like who will score those goals will be a key a point to consider. But other than that, assuming Ivan Toney comes back and the team does okay up till then, I think they should end up around the 14th position. And that is my prediction for Brentford. Thank you.